Sister Juanita. No, thank you, Juanita. You know why I said just Juanita. This morning it's my most distinct privilege and honor to present you the keynote speaker of this assembly. But before doing so, I would like to just let you know, I'd like to express my feeling as being proud to be part of this village. This village, I believe, I know for a fact, is one of the most linguistic and culturally diverse villages in Maryland. As we saw, we learned a new song this morning. I was excited almost. Nevertheless, so I believe I'll be derelict in my duties if I were not to extend a warm welcome to some of our hermanos latinos. De parte de nuestra iglesia, quiero darles una cordial y calurosa bienvenida a todos nuestros hermanos latinos y espero que no sea la última vez en que nos visiten. Gracias. Now, I feel that I have done this a few times, but let me inform you that you have to be patient in terms of what you're going to hear. I have done this before, like I said, but I have never, this is the first time I've had such an extensive, and it's very important that everything should be heard of what our keynote speaker has done. How could one man do all of this? You will see. His Excellency Denis G. Antoine, PhD, former ambassador of Grenada to the United States of America and permanent representative to the Organization of American States located in Washington, D.C. The ambassador has served as the chairman of the board of directors to the Young America's Business Trust, represents Grenada on the board of directors of the Inter-American Agency for Cooperation and Development, dean of the Corps of Ambassadors to the Western Hemisphere, serves as a chairman and member of charitable foundations, vice chair of the Inter-American Committee on Hemispheric Security, chairman of the Permanent Council of the OAS, head of the delegation of the OAS to the meeting of the Community of Democracies in Seoul, Korea, representative of Grenada as head of delegation to the OAS General Assemblies and other specialized meetings of hemispheric bodies throughout the Western Hemisphere, member of Grenada's delegation to the United States General Assembly, head of delegation for Grenada to the Association of Caribbean States, head of the delegation to the World Trade Organization's round of negotiations in Seattle, Washington, member of Grenada's delegation to the Summit of the Americans in Santiago, Chile, Quebec City, Canada, Mexico, and Argentina, member of Grenada's delegations to the Caribbean and United States Foreign Ministers meeting, member of delegation to the U.S. Caribbean Summit in Bridgetown, Barbados, chairman of the various OAS committees, such as chairman of the Executive Committee of the Inter-American Council for Integral Development. Let me tell you, I have to practice some of this here. Coordinator of the Caribbean CARICOM Caucus of Ambassadors in Washington, D.C. He currently serves as the director of the Office of International Programs and Exchanges. And you thought I'd finished there, right? No, it continues. In July 1995, Ambassador Denis Antoine was appointed to the current post as Ambassador Extraordinaire and Plenipotentiary of Grenada to the United States of America and Ambassador Permanent Representative to the Organization States. He also serves concurrently as Grenada's non-resident ambassador to Panama, my country, and Mexico, Due to recent change in government, Ambassador Antoine may be returning as ambassador to Grenada to the United States. Congratulations. Ambassador Antoine was the only ambassador from the Western Hemisphere to serve as head of delegation to the Special Summit of the Americas in Nuevo León, Mexico in January 2004. Before his present appointment, Ambassador Antoine was posted as Deputy Head of Commission, Counselor Alternate, Representative for Grenada in Washington in 1990. He has served as a Program Specialist for the Government of the District of Columbia, 1991 through 1995. Dr. Antoine is an international author, a mentor, an entrepreneur, a humanitarian, and a blessing to the world. Ambassador Antoine holds the following degrees: PhD in Management from La Salle University, Masters in Organization Management from National Louis University, an MA in Education from the University of the District of Columbia, and he has not written on here all of the training that he has had that are not relevant here. Ladies and gentlemen, Lighthouse, let us put our hands together and as we welcome and extend the Lighthouse warm welcome to His Excellency, Dr. Ambassador Denis Antoine.
Good morning, church. He was speaking about my brother. I am sure that you do realize it's not about me. I have tried. It is said that when you start from scratch, you keep on scratching. I'm very humbled when I come before, I would say, an audience or a congregation like this, because it's not my calling. The pastor is sitting right there. But oftentimes I've been asked to come and bring greetings, and indeed I have become a true part of this new beginning. There isn't much I can say. You've heard it all this morning. You've heard the eloquent words of Juanita. You've heard the eloquent words of the speakers before me. But I want to ask you a question about traditions. This morning, we're witnessing a tradition. And a tradition is a motivator. It is an activity which brings pride and exhibits values. And so the tradition of celebrating graduates, the tradition of congratulating those who have stood the test of a journey, as those who have gone through matriculation at their respective institution to earn the degrees. So again, let us all congratulate them, please. There is something very funny about words. Words released into the atmosphere do not disappear. They do not dissipate. They have no geographical limitations. Therefore, words are powerful. Watch what you say. The word graduation is generally replaced by commencement. The word commencement could mean we're beginning something. Something has begun, but it comes at the end of your studies. So it means that you're commencing, you're beginning your professional life. You're beginning your next step to demonstrating that you have learned. Now, those who entered the classroom to get a degree or to get the master's or the bachelor's degree, they entered the classroom with that degree. They entered the classroom with that degree in them. But the process states that you have to show that you got it in you. So we're going to put you through a process of testing and studies and test you and retest you so that you can prove that it is in you. And in the end, those who endure do demonstrate that they had it when they arrive. Therefore, if you have the courage to start something, you have the will and the ability to complete it. But it takes more than words. It takes the support mechanism. And when you look around this morning, the support mechanism was right here. What is the support mechanism? Let us talk about this for a moment. You've got friends. You've got parents. I saw the husband and wife stood up and spoke about what it meant to have each other. I saw the faculty came in. And then we have the pastor, the shepherd. In our village, we become our brother's keepers. We are supposed to be able to have the young students calling us. Calling us, as Juanita indicated, that when the distinguished nurse was going through some challenges, she would call. And sometimes it's just someone to listen you would need. But again, you called for words. Imagine you're going to Atlanta right now, and it's a very long journey and you're going to drive. Generally, you look for someone to accompany you. But you don't want just anyone. You're looking for someone who will chat with you, someone who will help you drive, someone who would tell you, girl, you made the wrong turn. It only means that with good company, a long journey becomes quite exciting. And so, the longest journey seems very short. Girl, we got here so fast. I didn't even realize we got here so quick. It is because you had support. It is because you had encouragement. It is because you had someone with you that you really want to spend 16 years with. That you really want to go on this life journey with. Now, last night, when I understood that I was going to come to Lighthouse Ministries, and I was trying to figure out, well, what can I say has not been heard? Because I've been here before, and I know I've heard so many words of encouragement. I know that I have seen so much determination. So I began to read a little bit. And what I found out was that ancient and modern history has shown us that whenever there is a task at hand, great revolutionaries, religious leaders, poets, political leaders and writers, they have given us words of inspiration. Words of inspiration. Writers have written songs. They have written rally cries and slogans, battle cries to encourage and mobilize the faithful. Now, so I began to think about this. And then I ran into some of the, we come from a region where we have very militant and if you recall, there was a revolution in Grenada. And throughout the revolution, there was a battle cry. Forward ever, backward never. That everyone had to be saying this every day. And then there was La lucha continuar. La lucha continuar. Viva la revolución. And so these cries were summoning the courage that the followers have. Now, we would never let our leader fall. Now, there were songs in the political rallies that you would hear. We would never let our leader fall, for we love him the best of all. And so we begin to stand up to show that we stand for something. And we believe in the direction that things are going. And we can all recall the inspirational words of the churches. This morning I stood and I smiled when you listened to the songs that were being sung. There were battle cries. You remember the battle hymn of the Republic? When the saints go marching in, you remember that? And the heights of great men, reached and kept, were not attained by sudden flight, but they who while their companions slept. I don't have to remind you. And we can go on because what we find in our traditions, our values, and our customs is that words are powerful. They don't dissipate. They don't disappear. They have no geographical boundaries. They are powerful. Now, to get to the top and stay there requires patience, perseverance, determination, dedication, and consistent hard work. When I was teaching early childhood, my first degree was special education. Then I went to get a master's degree in human development, early childhood, and education. And so I've taught from kindergarten to college. There were two books I could never forget that I used with children. The Little Engine That Could. The Little Engine That Could. And there was another one called Inch by Inch. Inch by Inch. These motivational stories build character and help children to understand that, yes, you can. Do you hear the new term? Yes, we can. So, but words and encouragements are intended to keep us focused on our purpose and our goals. However, when we are faced with challenges, it is important to note that our true character does not emerge. When we are faced with adversity and challenges, our character does not emerge. It is simply exhibited. Because if you didn't have it in you, you can't come out. You can't pretend it. So when the going gets rough and you buckle down on your knees, and it takes more than that. The character has to be exhibited, and you must then begin to show what you've got. The endurance, the stick-to-itiveness. So, the rally cry for Lighthouse Ministries International: raise the bar, the journey continues. Now, let us talk about that for a moment. Raising the bar is what has happened to the graduates. They're not ordinary citizens anymore. They must function at a different level. They must demonstrate that they are now credentialed. They can walk with a different confidence. And so the issue of raising the bar, if you realize that you look in sports and there's a pole vaulting, every time the first jump is made, they go to the bar and they raise the bar to ensure that the winner has jumped the highest. And it takes courage and skills to get over the bar. Now, I'm going to end. I want to conclude by again going back to the church. I come from the Caribbean. Most of us here come from the Western Hemisphere, which has a tradition of religious values. And we do look to the church as part of our culture. It is a cultural thing. It is a value of ours to go to church. As a child, I went to church so much. I used to wonder, why do I have to go to church so much? But it was being instilled in us that there is value in going to church and seeking inspiration. Onward, Christian soldiers marching as to war. We used to have to sing these songs and remember how we got where we were. It is not by our own doing, it was with the support. And so this morning, my message is, someone mentioned, I think it was Juanita and our speaker mentioned, the village. The village. We know about village in the Caribbean. We know a lot about village because we live in them. And so we know that when you want some salt, you go over there and say, listen, man, I don't go to the market, give me some salt here, come on. And we know that when you go and fish, and listen, man, I got some real fish here, then give me some planting, I'll give you some fish. There is a social network. There is a reliability in neighborliness. There is a sense that we belong to each other. I think it is in this kind of living that we can find the value of each other. So I do hope that the words were written not just because they're pretty words, but because they're powerful and they can inspire. Words can mobilize. Words can motivate. There are many obstacles to overcome in our lives. And then we found words again to deal with them. If it's too high, we get under it. If it's too low, you remember these things. We may take this for granted, but a little child coming up from infancy, being schooled and being told that nothing's impossible. There are some sayings let's take Jamaica, for example. There are many Jamaicans in here. And you know, Grenadians emulate Jamaicans a lot. Sometimes you would think that Grenadians are Jamaican depending on what is going on. They say we are little. Think about what that means to your psyche. We are not too small to get it done. Size doesn't make a difference in ability. And so applying your skills, applying your newfound skills to your task. The graduates have an obligation. You are sitting on the neck and the shoulders of giants who went before you. And today, I think the young students who marched in are also following you. So I end by repeating the lines of the old Christian soldier. It's called Onward Christian Soldiers, Marching us to War, with the cross of Jesus going on before. I want to congratulate Lighthouse Ministries for raising the bar, for demonstrating that the journey has begun. You have commenced. You have graduated. Commencement means you've begun. And so let's keep that vision and the eye on the prize. I thank you.